Last time I saw him play, he was doing really well. I've come back and it's like I've never been away. It's almost like the last 3 months didn't exist. He hasn't scored, obviously, a goal for 18 matches since, I think you said, mid-January earlier on. And, I mean, when you watch him today, really special things that we saw out on that pitch. Obviously, Liverpool weren't quite at it. We wondered what Liverpool would turn up before the game, whether it would be a relaxed Liverpool that would just go and enjoy their football, or whether it would be one that had been celebrating and just had that edge missing, and it was the latter. But take nothing away from Cole Palmer. We can start by looking at the first goal. I think sometimes that I remember playing against players that did things that were sort of like took them into world-class category. Just intelligence, understanding, timing of movement, and that double movement and the spin. What he did to Curtis Jones on that first goal was really special. I used to think that when I played against a left winger that moved like that, I was in real trouble, because the timing of it, the way in which they do it so sort of effortlessly, it doesn't look like, it's not obvious. The way in which they drift into a position, then all of a sudden it's that change of pace and that acceleration and that sudden change of direction, which means that Curtis Jones slips. And I've been there as a defender when I've slipped when someone's done that to me. Playing against a player, say, for instance, like Arjen Robben, who was a great, great player, one of the real great wingers, I think, in world football, had some of the best movement that you'll ever see. Just moving towards a position, all of a sudden he's just gone and he's turned and he's spun away from you. So that first goal was really, really special. There was a lot to do after it. Obviously, Neto did well and Enzo Fernandez, but that got Chelsea going. And sometimes you have a player, we know that Cole Palmer is Chelsea's most valuable player. We know he's their best player in attacking areas. He's a standout player, because the other three that are around him in that sort of front four, they're nowhere near his level, so they're not on the same wavelength as him. He was so good today, and there's a sort of drooling sort of commentary that you give sometimes when you've watched a player like David Silva, or you've watched a player like Kevin De Bruyne, Mo Salah, those players who are just a different level, where they have time. They have so much time, but they've not got time because they've always got players around them. And I thought he was outstanding today. His positions he took up, his composure on the ball, his choice of when to pass, when to shoot. And most impressive to me today was his acceleration away from people, just that little change of pace that is a killer. It's an absolute killer. I always think if you go from a slow or standing start to real speed and that acceleration, that will always do a defender. Yeah, an absolute outstanding performance. Yeah, I mean, look, he's obviously had a quiet time and he's had a dip, but that's just natural in any forward's career. And you think he's got 15 goals this season, 15 Premier League goals. I mean, that's an outstanding return. If the others were contributing at the levels that he is, then to be fair, Chelsea would be top of the league. I mean, it's outstanding return from a player that plays in that position. What I liked about today is he hung out on that right-hand side. He sort of found a space in the game. And I think the best players also find out where the game is. What I mean by that is they'll understand where they can go and do maximum damage, and they'll test certain positions during a match, particularly players that have got a bit of freedom to play, say, for instance, left pocket, central pocket or right pocket, and they might even go a little bit higher at times. But, I remember watching a game last season at Crystal Palace away where Cole Palmer, he played, I think, off the front in the first half. Wasn't effective at all, but then moved out to the right wing in the second half and dominated the game. And I think he's that type of player. And he's nowhere near Ronaldo. He's nowhere near the level of Ronaldo, let's be clear. But I'm going to put him in the sort of same sentence here from a point of view of a principle that Cristiano used to go and play at the point whereby the other team were the weakest and most vulnerable. And I think Cole Palmer has earned the credit and the sort of the ability that he's got to put himself in that category whereby wherever the game is for Chelsea, he can go and put himself there. Yeah, a real outstanding talent, and someone who obviously Chelsea are going to build around. They've given him a contract that's, it's a 10-year contract, so they know what they've got. And if you put a top-class centre-forward with him, maybe a better quality of wide player, and, I'm half a team here, a goalkeeper and a centre-back, Chelsea won't be far away. You look at Chelsea's sort of players, and there's something there, but it needs that centre-forward, it needs that centre-back, and it needs that goalkeeper. The spine of the team sort of around him will enable him, I think, to be successful with Chelsea in that 10 years. They need to get those players, and the key to getting those players is getting that Champions League qualification money, and that's a very, very big result today. I called him the difference. Usually this season it's been Mo Salah, the man on the other side of the pitch, or the other side today, that's been the difference player. Today it was Cole Palmer.